For week 4, we have 3 topics. The first one is evaluation. Then we have standards, accessibility and reusability, and visual design. And the readings that will help you learn about those topics are from our textbook, Chapter 5 about tests, Chapter 13 about strategic decisions, and Chapter 14, visual display. And what's in them for you now that you're going to get started working towards your paper prototype? Chapter 5 focuses on evaluation. So you're going to learn things about the purposes of testing, the types of questions that you could use, design issues like instructions for your tests, writing effective questions, combining types of questions, feedback that you can provide when students answer correctly or incorrectly, and then alternatives to testing. What this chapter is not very good at is talking about rubrics. So you may look for additional resources on designing rubrics. There's this particular article online. It doesn't have too much information, but it does provide some examples that depict what different kinds of rubrics look like, and I will add the link below the announcement. But rubrics should be used to test performance, and there are different things you need to do in order to design them, and it's good to use these kinds of resources to help you do that. Chapter 13 talks about strategic decisions, and for example, you have already started thinking about this, but you can think of things like whether you want an instructor-led experience or learner-led experience, whether you're going to incorporate synchronous or asynchronous activities or both, what devices learner will use for e-learning, where will learners take the e-learning, designing taking into consideration the possibility of reusing content, and then striving to meet standards of quality of design, accessibility, and also deciding what the technology standards will be so that your users know the kinds of technologies they need to use in order to better benefit from the experience. And then chapter 14 will talk about visual display, and since part of your prototype is making decisions about how to display your content on the pages, you can read about things like size and number of windows, the legibility of content, layouts for the different elements on your pages, and also Unity, which is Horton's way of talking about coherence throughout your design.